Hey guys, welcome to CG Market Watch Live, and today we're gonna bring to you the main topic, which is can Ethereum stop dying? I think this is one of the major topics that everyone on social media everywhere are talking about, and I think, hey, you know what's a better time than to address it today? And since it's a Wednesday, we're on CG Market Watch Live, let's address it. But of course, before we talk about Ethereum, I also need to cover and want to cover our king in cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin. And right here with me, I prepared some slides and some charts to actually show, or not slides, just some charts to show you all. And we could go forward and illustrate certain points via BTC and Ethereum chart. All right, so let's go. Alrighty, so we're gonna begin with CMC first, of course. Now, we understand that Bitcoin's dominance has been going up, right? And now it's at 57.8%. And you see how sad that little cat here is with regards to the market. So we can see entirely, in terms of market cap, Ethereum has suffered quite drastically, right? In fact, it dipped by about 11.08% in the last 24 hours. And that doesn't look even pleasant at all. And we look down further and we analyze other particular cryptocurrency. We look at Bitcoin Cash, we look at Cardano with double-digit drops, Dash, NAM, and so on and so forth. So there's so many different kind of tokens with prices being affected that large, that huge, okay? And I really start beginning to wonder, when will the market exactly recover, right? And what I would just want to say to all of you guys out there is, Ryan will always say, I think this is the best time to just kind of understand that this is what the market wants us. It wants to bleed people. It wants to get the weak ones out of the market, right? And this is already happening, okay? And so what we can do only at this moment is either to kind of like dollar cost average into BTC in the long run, or we need to believe in cryptocurrency and blockchain technology in itself, okay? So let's begin. Okay, let's cover some of the stuff here that I've prepared. So first of all, we talk about First of all, we talk about Bitcoin. Okay. So what I've prepared here is a very simple chart. Of course, I added in a lot of different things here. It took me about 5 minutes to prepare this. But so I'm just gonna walk you through. All right. This is on Binance 4 hours chart. It's very simple. So what I do see is that there could be a possible symmetrical triangle. Let me just zoom in for you guys. There's a symmetrical triangle being formed here. And based on the Kumo cloud of Ichimoku, we can kind of foresee that there's a very huge selling volume, or a very huge volume there that is not supporting BTC price movement upwards. Okay, so even for a symmetrical triangle, even though it could mean a neutral kind of positioning, it could, because of the prevailing bearishness previously, this could be kind of seen as a bearish symmetrical triangle. So that would mean that we could be seeing further downside. All right. So my personal take, or my personal kind of point of view, is we are almost about 3 to 5% of either upside or downside. So based on Ichimoku, we could see, or based on Kumo Cloud, we could see that the upside potential is about 4.3%. And therefore, if you extrapolate that downwards, it's about a 4.31% dip as well. And that level we're looking at is 5,988 for support level and 6,522 for a resistance level. So that's the kind of level that I would be paying attention to. And then we look at RSI here, it's hovering below the 50 line. It's it's not very strong. There's not much momentum. MACD also does show that even though it's kind of recovering with a slight bar graph showing here and there, ultimately we are still not heading up yet. Okay, so it's still a very weak position for BTC 4 hours chart. Okay, so what I want to bring your attention to today is the daily chart. Now, why? So I spent a little bit more time just digesting what is going to happen, or the potential daily chart pattern in that sense. Now, I have not really illustrated much on the RSI per se, but if you kind of just look at the daily chart, you realize that, hey, so we're going from a steeper trend line to less steep, and then suddenly it gets steep again. So, but you realize that this forms a pattern of 5, right? With the trend lines getting diagonal and diagonal and diagonal. So last year at about December-ish to January, we have a huge pump of BTC price, and there was a huge dominance of BTC, right? And then suddenly started dipping close to start of the year, and therefore you see everything started dipping. But the entire reason why I want to show you this is you need to kind of understand where is the support level at. So when I draw your attention to where these 5 kind of diagonal curves end up at, they all end up at a support level that's close to between $5,800 to $5,980 or about $6,000, and the particular range between these yellow lines are $5,980 to $6,522. So this kind of corresponds with the symmetrical triangle formation that was formed that is formed right now. So the only question is, where can it go next? It can go either way, but personally I'm looking at it going more bearish, okay, before the eventual slight pump. Now we also understand, if you base on historical records, the last particular pump and the last particular dip last year happened on 12th of November last year. So subsequently after that dip, with RSI heading below that 2030 level, that particular 50 level, we realized that the market started pumping very, very hard. Okay, and this particular pump made a lot of people happy, but at the same time, it started dipping this year. So we could see these 5 lines, these 5 diagonal lines actually form the crypto recession that we want to call it this year. So it has been on a downtrend lately, okay? And we can see how RSI is trying to pick up here and there. So I'm not going to use RSI so much, but what I want you to understand is that market is a cycle. Everything in life is a cycle. Anything in the financial market is a cycle. So you just have to have that strong guts in you. You need to know that this BTC or Bitcoin per se is here to stay, and generally you'll be safe at the end of a certain period of time. So look beyond what you're looking at as of now. Maybe 2-3 years later, when halving occurs, Bitcoin will be of a different pricing at a different level once again. So look long term, look medium term, ignore whatever noise that you have right now in the market. Okay, so when it comes to recovery, it's really very hard to predict, but let's just hope and fingers crossed that coming November, October, with some good news from Buck launching in November, let's hope that something like that will happen. Okay, now when it comes to longs and shorts, you could still see shorts being built up quite a fair bit, right? So this is on daily, on TradingView. We're tracking longs on Bitfinex, and you can see that shorts are still building up on for BTC, but it's getting weaker based on candles, but yet shorts are still stronger than longs for BTC. Okay, so guys, take note of that. Now, what I want to draw your attention to today, and the main topic for today, is when can Ethereum stop dying? Now, it's very disappointing, especially when I last saw it was on Monday, 2 days ago, and I've really kind of said that, hey, Ethereum will continue to die, and Brian made a prediction last week too, and it's certainly true. So when you kind of understand the charts and you're looking at Kumo cloud of Ichimoku, you realize that, hey, Ethereum is really not doing that well. Okay, RSI also has been in an oversold situation for 4 hours chart. MACD, this is kind of the worst chart to have, because when your moving averages are all below your bar graph with a huge space here, this is the space you need to breach in order for more bullishness to come. But with such a big space, it also meant your MACD is oversold with little volume. Ethereum is not gonna it's not gonna recover so quickly. It's gonna continue dying. So when can Ethereum stop dying? That is the key thing today, guys. So I want to draw your attention to the daily chart once again. So I did this chart based on Gemini once again, because Gemini can help me to track to last year's data. Binance, Huobi all doesn't have the data that I need. So when you kind of trace it back to last year, back in July 2017 and back in May 2017, I talk about this on Monday. Price range that we could be potentially looking at, all right, is really between $132 to about $150. That is, based on historical records, the levels that when ETH started to really pump at that level, and as well as it corresponding to how BTC has pumped previously. Now, of course, there's a lot more factors that's affecting ETH, basically because of all the ICO projects that are either still back holding it or they're dumping lots and lots of Ethereum, causing the whole entire market cap of Ethereum to dip that drastically. So that is the problem as a smart contract platform, the kind of risk you have to hold, right? And so this is probably the range I'll be really looking at. In fact, I think it would be safe to kind of assume that $150 to $160 would be the kind of price where Ethereum will really start recovering. Okay, so is this based on TA per se? Yeah, it's a struggle to say that, but it's based on historical resistance and support level. based on the last year May and July, these are the kind of levels we could be potentially looking at, between $132 to about $150 at a low support level. If not, the higher support S2 level would be at $150 to $160. This is where I would consider buying ETH, but I am not that focused on ETH, but this is the levels you should be looking at. So one other thing you need to note is that this is OBV, right? This is the volume of Ethereum. So kind of, if you realize there's a lot of divergent signs, like no matter how RSI picks up, okay, the volume just doesn't pick up on ETH. It's a very, very sad thing, right? So throughout the entire this year, from starting on January all the way till now in September, you realize that the volume of Ethereum has kind of never picked up. So in fact, let's say if I were to just draw a trend line here for you guys to see, let's start from January, 6th of January, okay, all the way down. You realize that, hey, no one is really buying ETH in a large way, even on Gemini, right, where people go to Gemini to buy ETH and using US dollars. That's the difference. It's not even using Tether. It's using US dollars, but it's just not receiving the attention that it needs, okay? And projects are just dumping ETH to a lot of people. So that is unfortunate, but what we need to realize is, based on TA point of view, the potential recovery could only come below $150, and I sincerely hope it doesn't go there. I'm not really holding a lot of ETH, but my heart goes out to all of you guys. But $160 to $150 and then down to about $132 should be potentially, okay, the support we can be looking at for Ethereum. Okay, so let's look at the shorts and longs for Ethereum. Honestly, when I look at it, it doesn't really tell anything, right? I mean, you compare that with BTC's shorts, you could see that the short is piling up, but and it tells a story that there are more shorters than longers as of now. But even if you look at ETH, it just doesn't really tell anything, right? Even if I zoom out on a daily, you don't see, you can't really make a point of whether there's more longs or shorts. But even just basing on OBV, on TA, on daily chart, you realize that it has never recovered ever since the start of the year. That's unfortunate, but we have to face it, okay? Now, so I've talked about BTC, I've talked about Ethereum. Let's just talk about one quick news today that came out about 2 hours ago. So on Cointelegraph. So an apparent first US SEC penalizes a crypto hedge fund. It's kind of interesting, okay? SEC has issued a cease and desist order on a 200,000 fine to Crypto Asset Management Camp and its founder Timothy Anaking. So in fact, what happened, which is quite interesting, is that Camp misrepresented itself as the first regulated crypto asset fund. Oh, what atrocity, okay? And raised 3.6 million from 44 investors, bringing its net asset value to 37 mil. This came from nowhere. And they just said, okay, I'm the first regulated fund in the US, thank you, in 2017. And that helped, and that allowed them to kind of raise 37 million. It's atrocious. But anyway, so according to the filing, it has never been registered with the commission. And in fact, they willfully broke the law by claiming they have the credentials. So that's really terrible. Okay, that is the market for you guys. Anyway, the company has agreed to stop its public offering and has offered to buy back from the investors. And they have agreed to pay the fine. I have no idea why they would do such a stupid thing. And how would they assume that they will not be, found out by SEC? So anyway, SEC also issued an order against ICO Superstone Token Lot. Says that Token Lot breached the law by failing to register. So guys, the one thing that I want to bring to our attention is this: SEC, it's on the ground. It's kind of working, I would say that. But of course, bringing these regulations and making it safer for investors to invest, it's a good sign that SEC is focusing on that. And that will also probably pave the way for ICO's project to come in the future. So even though ETH price, it's heavily, I don't want to say depleted, but it's heavily suppressed. Projects are kind of holding, but also kind of dumping at the same time. I know of a few partners who are holding on to a lot of Ethereum, and all they could say is they got it expensive, and they're trying to offload and thinking of ways to do that. So that is the market right now. It's terrible, right? But one thing we need to understand is that regulations and whatever that's paving ways for the future ICOs to come could be what we need in that sense, okay? And we also have to look at the viability of how Ethereum could be in the future, okay? And so the most important question today that I want to ask is, can Ethereum stop dying? And if BTC were to start recovering, will ETH recover this time around? Having seen something like that, with the volume dipping like shit, my greatest question now is, can ETH recover when BTC starts recovering. It's the F drop. The F drop has been more substantial in terms of percentage wise against BTC. The question now is, can F recover when BTC does? Okay, so guys, feel free to provide your views in the comments below. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment on videos. I'll see you guys on Friday. For more analysis, please go to our CG Elite group. All right, it's gonna be renamed from CG Premier to CG Elite group. And we're gonna start registration soon, very soon. In fact, I've just created the form. We're gonna start registration very soon. So for more analysis and for more price action and momentum and portfolio management strategies, tune into the group. All right, and join our Telegram group. All right, I'll see you guys on Friday. Take care.